YouTube? What the Napoleon Total War crap is going on? HeirofCarthage here, of course, back in Napoleon. Now this comes from Crofarmer. It was the guy who sent us the replay that was the 4v4 on Ligny. This one's actually a 1 versus 1, and it's going to be on the Borodino map, which again is it's a very terrain-heavy map. There's river crossings, there's some buildings. It can make for some interesting play. And dadgummit, I forgot to enable the unlimited camera again. My bad. Let's take a look at the armies. This time the rules were a little different. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and fast forward a bit until the battle starts. And I'm going to tab out and I'm going to pull up the armies so I can call them off to you quickly without having to search through each of the units, because that's probably not the most fun to watch. Do you see a couple of artillery units on the field? You got a 6-pounder and a howitzer over here. Looks like the French player is going to deploy in pockets. Okay, let's tab out real quick so I can get the army makeups for you. I didn't have them on the right screen when I started recording, so my bad. All right, so for Crofarmer, he's playing as France. He's got 4 Swiss foot, 2 howitzers, 1 6-pounder. So 3 artillery in total, and the rules were 3 art max, no rockets, no unicorns, and then 4 light infantry max. He's got 4 voltigeurs, 1 old guard. He has one of the 3-star generals, which let's check out his name here, which is Marshal Soult. Yeah, Soult. I'm sure I'm saying that so wrong, it's not even funny. 2 young guard and 2 Polish legion, and then on the other side we got Drexler 22 playing as Prussia. His army is all over here. And his army is comprised of 4 Prussian Fusiliers, 8 Musketeers, 1 Foot Guard, 1 8th Life Regiment, so that's another guard unit basically, 1 Grenadier, 1 Lancer, 1 Lützow Freikorps, 1 Hussar, and 1 Count von Gneisenau, which is his general. Yeah, I probably pronounced that wrong too, but anyway, there he is. So that makes up his army. So no artillery. And I think last time I saw someone in the comments on Napoleon make the comment that artillery sucks on Napoleon and it doesn't do any good anyway. In some ways, artillery is not fantastic on Napoleon, but there is certain artillery in Napoleon that is absolutely devastating. Russian unicorn howitzers are one of the examples. Oh my gosh, those things are brutal. Howitzers in general can be quite damaging on Napoleon. And remember that howitzers, or artillery in general on Napoleon, has unlimited ammo. And so it can be extremely devastating if someone gets campy, and it can also prevent an enemy from just taking buildings and camping in buildings. Now, this is probably going to be quite some deployment time for both armies. Looks like the Prussians moving out here, trying to take the battle out here, and the French player has his army split, which means he's now going to be in a rush to get both flanks put together before the Prussian can mount an assault on his one flank, which does not have superior strength, but it looks like the French player is going to have plenty of time. You definitely would not want to get outgunned like that, because you could find yourself quickly being overwhelmed. Let's take a look at the Prussian cavalry here. We said there was a Hussar, the Freikorps. The Freikorps is kind of one of the special units that you could get, like DLC probably. Cool looking unit. Let's see, and then there's the Lancer. I would say, let's see, so the French player brings just the, let's see, was it just the cuirassier? He didn't list the cuirassier in his army layout, so he missed that one. Or the cuirassier, or whatever you want to call it. Yeah, that's his only cavalry unit that I'm seeing, so just 1 heavy cavalry for the French. The French is going to be less mobile, but with more firepower. The Prussians are going to have more mobility, but less firepower because of the lack of artillery. So let's see how that works out. Now, the 6-pounder is straight line artillery. It's going to need a good spot to set up so that it can take advantage of like this hill. So for instance, once the 6-pounder, if it ever gets over here, and so this is the downside of just like a standard foot artillery, is they walk like they're in slow motion. Slow motion. There we go. So yeah, here's the old guard. If that 6-pounder could get itself up onto a decent position, like up here on this hill where it can fire over its own men into the enemy, it can be quite devastating at keeping the enemy general at a distance or hitting enemy cavalry. The howitzers can be quite good versus infantry, and they are already getting into position here on this hill, which is going to be an excellent firing position. The French voltigeurs are going to be massively outgunned by the Prussian fusiliers. They're going to want to steer clear of that fight if at all possible. They may want to consider pulling back. In fact, if the Prussians are in range, they are about to crap on these French light infantry. The Prussian light infantry is far superior here. These guys are outnumbered and outgunned. Ooh, don't take this fight. Don't do it. Well, he does get first shots. It's going to help. And he's going to have artillery support. Let's see if it's enough to make up for it. Now, the shots that are missing from the Prussian Fusiliers, you can see already doing big-time damage to these French troops back here. So the French player may want to consider moving those units. His Voltigeurs are getting pooped on, but the howitzers are now going to come in, and he's going to support with Swiss foot here. This is good. It's going to push this Prussian Fusilier back, but the line of fire might be a little bit blocked there. Howitzer shots now incoming, so this is going to force the Prussians back. They'll take a few shots in the back, so now this is better for the French player. Forcing them back, forcing the shots in the rear while taking artillery fire. This is good. This is what the French player wants. Push the Prussian back, let his artillery get shots, let his 6-pounder finally get up on the hill, which it is getting closer, and then I would use the 6-pounder to try and pick off Count Benissimo and the cavalry. But yeah, the Prussian Fusiliers are going to have to push forward and engage now, or else they're just going to get hammered by artillery fire. They can pull back, but there's really nothing. I mean, pulling back's just going to, allow the French player to pull forward again. So I mean, now they're back in range at the Voltigeurs in some spots. But I mean, again, with the artillery support, I would expect that the Prussian Fusiliers are going to get hurt pretty bad. But again, there's shots that miss here, doing some damage. But yeah. For those saying that artillery isn't that good, I mean it is. it's not like crazy awesome, but used properly, it can definitely devastate some infantry, and it also hurts morale. So the morale element can be pretty considerable too. Let's watch these Prussian Fusiliers. They're going to put on a nice show for us and be under artillery fire. Very beautiful effects considering how old this game is. Very beautiful effects. Obviously, you can see where Shogun 2. Got its start on having good effects. It was from Napoleon. So yeah, the artillery fire not doing too much to these Prussians so far. It's almost like it's a little bit on the outside of its range as far as being able to be effective. So the French skirmish here not going to go particularly well for them. Let's see what's going on over here. So I got a musketeer, 3 musketeers, and they're being pushed by 4 Swiss foot. The musketeers will probably want to steer away from that fight. The Swiss foot are going to be pretty darn good in a line fight. This little village here creating kind of an interesting terrain. Oh, there's a couple of really nice artillery hits. So that Prussian Fusilier took some beating there. And the French troops are at least causing a trade, using up some of the ammo and spending some time with the Prussian Fusiliers here. So, I mean, not necessarily all, but this is bad. Swiss foot just got hammered by that Prussian Fusilier. Took 14 losses. Now, if it gets in range, it'll do some damage, but even getting within line range, you don't really want to trade with these Prussian Fusiliers because they're in light infantry formation. But forcing them back once again, this is good because now it means the Prussian Fusiliers are going to have to push forward once again. Now, this 6-pounder is coming way forward. Not sure why that is. Not sure why that is. If I would have set the 6-pounder up back on the hill if it had the range and just started picking off Prussian cavalry. Let's see. Got an old guard pushing up over here. If he uses the Swiss foot to maybe draw fire from one of these musketeers and then push the old guard in, this could go in favor of the old guard. Ooh, right here the Swiss foot getting a nice shot on the Prussian Fusiliers, and then they're going to have backup from another unit, though I do think they are terrain blocked just a little. Musketeers pushing up, trying to get a shot here on the Swiss foot, but they better watch out. Looks like they do not quite get in range for the shot. A little bit of cat and mouse going on there. Skirmish still going on in the center, and the longer this draws on, the better it is for the French player because the artillery can help even that out. Swiss foot are going to make a push here. They're going to force back the Prussian Fusiliers, but they're going to take some damage. Oh, the old guard coming in and getting clean shots on the Prussian musketeers. And the old guard is just going to wreck those musketeers. Let's get some old guard action here. Get him, old guard, get him. So yeah, old guard is going to do a marvelous job in a line fight right here. I'll let you see some of this up close. Those musketeers are going to get crapped on. Continue to watch the old guard charge up here. Oh, they're pushing forward now. They're going to push forward into a lot of fire. No, because these guys fired at this unit, so again, that's good for the old guard. So the old guard still moves forward without taking a single hit, which is a mistake on the part of the Prussians, to be honest. These Swiss foot can kind of hold up this flank. The 6-pounder is now in position. It needs to probably switch over to canister shot. Yeah, old guard pushing back this whole flank over here. And with those guys falling back, I mean, he might want to see if he can reposition the old guard to get into this fight, and maybe use this terrain to his advantage, pull his guys back behind that terrain. This cannon's not in the best shot terrain-wise. The howitzers, though, still dishing out the damage to the main line. Let's see where the Prussian guard infantry is. Where's that life regiment? Back here. So the 8th Life Regiment still a long ways off from the fight. Some Prussian Fusiliers now off the field. And the Musketeers here are already scared. They're concerned over a frightening enemy unit. So the Old Guard is scaring this Musketeer unit all the way from there. The Old Guard does have a scare effect. The Voltigeurs are just absorbing shots now from the whole main line. The French reserves might want to go ahead and move up now. See if they can take advantage of this. Of course, what do I know about Napoleon? Oh yeah, you got canister shot now from the 6-pounder, so this is actually going to turn out nice here. Some of it gets blocked by the line of sight, but there's some shots coming through back here. And the 6-pounder is making its presence felt. And that Old Guard is scaring the crap out of these units here. And it is way over here still. Wow, look at the effect of that Old Guard. The Prussians are now just getting crapped on between the Old Guard's effects and the artillery fire. So for those thinking that artillery doesn't make a difference, there you go. Between the Old Guard and the artillery, just completely routing that Musketeer unit. The 8th Life Regiment can come on in, but I mean, just the savaging that these guys are taking from the French artillery and the French lines is going to be pretty staggering at this point. So you can see the Prussians fighting quite valiantly, but just look at those artillery explosions. Oh man, this game's beautiful. I forgot just how beautiful this game is. We're going to have to get on here and do a live stream on this sometime. Here comes some French cuirassiers. They're going to charge through some stakes, but they're going the right direction. Let's follow the French cuirassiers. Looks like they're going to be trying to intercept some incoming Prussian cavalry, which gets hammered with a canister shot. Very nice use of the canister shot. So here's the French cuirassiers are very cool-looking units. Cuirassiers in general are cool-looking units. So here's the cavalry fight going on out here. Looks like the Prussian trying to get to the 6-pounder, which is not a bad choice. So the fight is not over yet. It looked like it was turning completely pro-France here. It's still definitely in the favor of France. These Polish Legion over here dealing well with their counterparts. I don't know where. Here's the Young Guard in the center, doing a nice job. Let's again get a close-up on this center. I wish the cinematic camera worked in Napoleon. It does not. I can do zoom-ins, but that one was a little bit rough. Let's do kind of a zoomed-in view here once again. So get my mouse cursor up out of the way. So yes, very beautiful. Love watching the line fire going back. Look at the artillery fire going in between the lines. Absolutely beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Love it. Let's see. So yeah, you all seem to really enjoy the Napoleon Total War footage I put up last time. So that's why I wanted to give you more. The Swiss foot over here pushing back their Prussian counterparts. The Swiss foot are great lines for just firing. The Old Guard now charging into melee. Down to 19 men and fighting these grenadiers in melee. They finally rout. The Old Guard did put up quite a fight there and made a big impact in the battle. Grenadiers are pretty good in melee. Now the Old Guard at full strength obviously could have beaten them. But and that's the East Prussian Grenadier Battalion, so it's not just a standard grenadier. So that's going to be a pretty good unit in melee. The Prussians now getting mobbed in melee here in the center, or they're actually charging forward. So some Musketeers charging in melee against the Young Guard. That charge will not favor them. The enemy general is dead, so Count von Iceno is gone. Absolutely beautiful charges going on here. Let's check out some of the up-close, gratuitous melee action. The Prussian color is very similar to some of the French colors up close, though, so a little bit hard to tell who's who. Marshal Soult is, again, I can't pronounce his name, but he's safe. So yeah, it looks like at this point it's just a wrap-up operation. So here's some sweet Polish Legion. They're going to be unloading on the Prussian Musketeers across the way from them. Look at that artillery unit. The horse is routing right through the middle of the battle like, let's get out of here. Very, very slowly through the midst of all the musket fire. So yeah, the Polish Legion, good on the charge. A little better on the charge than a standard line infantry, and not as good in shooting as, say, like a Swiss line, but still a useful unit for France. Add some flavor for them. Yeah, these are the Swiss foot over here. They're very cool looking. Got those red uniforms, kind of the yellow garnish there, the gold garnish, whatever you call it. Very nice looking uniforms. Let's go check out some of the Prussian units. Here's a foot guard. Cool unit with that. I don't remember what you call it, the little thing that goes on top of their hat. They're going to charge into melee here. Or nope, they're going to rout. So here comes the East Prussian Grenadier Battalion into melee. Yeah, now we're talking. Oh yeah, Air likes him a good melee fight on Napoleon. They might win that. They're a very good unit as far as melee defense, but I mean, morale's going to play a role here. Numbers are going to play a role. The Grenadiers come in fewer numbers. The Grenadiers are the ones in blue. Yeah, they're putting up a good fight against a unit that has a lot higher strength and winning in the gunfight. So they are going to rout, though. So the East Prussian Grenadier Battalion putting up a valiant effort there. But this one's going to go to France. So I appreciate Crofarmer sending that in again. Very awesome. Appreciate the Napoleon Total War replays. You also, like I said, you really seem to enjoy the last one. It got a ton of views. I know this one's not a 4v4, but if you all enjoyed it, we can try and set some more of that up in the future if it's something you really feel like you'd like. This one Musketeer coming back, but it's likely to rout on contact with fire from the Swiss foot. Happy to bring you whatever you feel like you would enjoy. Oh, we got another one here too. The 8th Life Regiment going straight into the Polish Legion. Let's see if the Polish Legion... Oh, countercharge. Very nice. So we're going to get another awesome melee fight going on here. The Polish Legion has a decent charge, but I mean, this is the 8th Life Regiment here. We'll see. Again, numbers, though, maybe going to favor the Polish Legion. You can see, though, they're taking a beating. Their morale dropping a little bit. Now popping back up. Kind of wavering back and forth between green and orange there. Again, on the charge, the Polish Legion is good. In prolonged combat, the 8th Life Regiment would be better. But again, their numbers giving way to the superior numbers of the Polish Legion that they were fighting. And that should be it for the Prussian player. Looks like everything has been routed off the battle. So great game to Crofarmer. Let's take a look at the unit statistics here. Swiss foot doing quite well. The old guard doing pretty well. More Swiss foot doing well. Young guard. Let's see. So as far as saying that artillery doesn't get any kills, obviously disagree here. I mean, even a relatively small number of kills, 40 kills, it makes a big difference. It can force the enemy forward and give you an engagement. I thought the Voltigeur here actually did quite a good job considering how cheap they are versus the Prussian Fusiliers. And then this 6-pound howitzer here getting 90 kills. So that's not an insubstantial amount of kills. So anyway, hope you all enjoyed it. HeirofCarthage signing off.